So, who should be the injury replacement for the India tour? That was a question that you guys sent in on Instagram, and we're going to be answering your questions. That's what the show is about. So, get your questions in the live chat. We'll try to answer as many as we can get through. If you want us to definitely answer your question and make sure that we get to it, then you need to get involved with the super chat. Please get involved with the super chat, and that's the way you will be able to get us to ask your questions for straight up, no worries. We will answer it immediately. That's very important that you know that. The super chats are there so that you guys know that we can ask your questions immediately. So let's get into the show. Let's get everything started. Before we get going, before we do that, please, the guys on Facebook, please head over to YouTube and subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell for all future videos as well. Don't forget to also smash the like button and share this with all your friends and family. We want to answer as many questions as you want. It doesn't necessarily only have to be about cricket. You can ask us other questions too. And if we get to them, we will answer that as well. So we also have a magazine. Please, you need to go download that. That's 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen and in the description. On Facebook, you guys will be used to it. When you click through to our articles, etc., you'll get a prompt to sign up for the magazine. So go ahead and do that as well. It's 100% free, including all back issues. We also need your help, so come and help us over here. We are 100% bootstrapped. We have a Patreon account, so go ahead and click on our Patreon account, and you can help us out as best as possible. Please go ahead and do so. Click on the link on the screen or in the description. So make sure that you guys can choose any amount that you guys want to help us out with. We want to obviously get a studio one day, and there's so many things that we want to pay for and get, of course, and you guys can help us out with that. So before we get going, before we get started, guys, I just want to say thank you for all the support recently. We want to try and push for that 4,000 mark. So help us get there. Smash the like button, please, and share with everybody to help us get to that milestone. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. Hello over to the Facebook users as well as the YouTube guys. Thank you for joining us. We will be streaming this live to Facebook as well as on YouTube every single Friday. We want our families to obviously meet each other and obviously get to know each other, both from both social media platforms. We have a very active community on Facebook. So the YouTube guys, if you don't know about it, head over to our Facebook page as well and go and like that page. Most of our articles, most of our features, most of our exclusive written content gets published on Facebook. So go ahead and subscribe to that. For the Facebook guys, what I want you guys to know is that most of our video content happens on YouTube. So head over to YouTube and get subscribing over there too. This is a fan Q&A session. We do this every single Friday. We will be doing this every Friday on Facebook as well as on YouTube so that you guys get to ask us any questions that you want to know. It's not only cricket questions. You can ask us cricket questions, of course, but you don't only have to ask us cricket questions. We have a lot of other interests as well. There's a lot of other teams we support. There's a lot of other things that we are into and interested in. So you guys can throw those questions in at us as well if you are interested in doing so. If you want to know anything, we will decide if we want to be to answer all of them. Don't ask us weird questions now, please, on the show as well. So let's get into today's show. I'm just waiting for Aditya to join me if he does get to us. It's all dependable on what's happening in the IPL and all of those type of things, etc. as well. So let's get into the Q&A. We'll start with the one that is on Instagram first and foremost, because obviously the one that's on the thumbnail is the one that was given on Instagram. If you guys want to feature a question on one of our thumbnails, then go onto Instagram and follow us there. We do put a Q&A session, Q&A or a section for you to be able to put in your questions. So you can go to our stories and you can fill it out there. So I'm going to start with up-and-coming legend 1. He says, can you get Victor Impetsang on the show to explain why Faf is not in the T20 squad? Faf has been loyal to South Africa. Now, this is something that has been answered by Victor himself actually a while back. It's not like necessary for me, I think, to get him on the show to explain it. I think that the hassle has to be, from my opinion, from what I've researched and what I've seen around, that FAF can't play all formats for South Africa. Now, there are no T20 cricket contracts at the moment, and I don't know of any contracts out there that are only paying for players that are playing for or in T20 cricket alone. So I think to create a T20 contract on its own, like some other countries have done as well, it is quite difficult for CSA to do something like that. And I think that was the issue. And I think Victor and Graham as well, and the selectors would have had those conversations with Faf and probably spoke to him about what they expect from a player if he wants to play for South Africa. So obviously playing series leading up to certain games, which I think Faf probably would have been interested in. But if it was clashing with any of the other T20 leagues that he's paying his bills, you're asking him to obviously give up his livelihood to play for free, because ultimately there is no such thing as a T20 contract. So what will CSA be paying him then, to play? So the problem lies with that. And if South Africa can build maybe some expendable cash where they can actually do things like that, then maybe we would see some players be down the line, get T20 contracts so that they can play for South Africa only in one format or specific format. At the moment, we know Quinn is on a white ball contract. I don't think Faf would be interested in playing in both formats, in 50 overs and in T20 cricket. So at that particular time, when they were speaking about him coming back into the side for the World Cup, that was one of the problems that came up. So yeah, that is basically the reason I feel that Faf has not been included. So it's very important that you guys know that that was discussed before by Victor Impensang on previous interviews, etc. And when I've spoken to him in person as well, he explained the situation to me too. We did also interview him exclusively as well. Welcome to the show, Aditya. Good to see you, bro. Do you want to give us a quick update on what has happened today in the world of cricket?
Yeah, today a great game between Chennai and Rajasthan, and Chennai, after scoring 75 runs in the first 5 overs of the game, 6 overs of the game, were only able to score another 75 runs in the next 14 overs of the game. So interesting there. Uh, right now, Rajasthan are on course to chase it down, uh, but they're 3 wickets down and still need 61 runs more to make. So anything can happen.
Interesting, interesting. IPL's heating up, guys. It's going to get really exciting. I think definitely when the knockouts start happening, I'm going to be watching.
Yeah.
So a lot more.
Sorry, I missed the show yesterday because it was a very sensitive game for RCB, and for the first time in
Is
the
it every
tournament,
game?
perhaps the opening partnership was doing well between Faf and Virat, so I didn't want to
Yeah.
change my seating position at that point.
It's like me when I watch United play, or not this season. RCB isn't every single game squeaky bum time for them.
Well, yeah. So yesterday's game was a must-win game. They won it. Now, if Mumbai are able to beat Delhi tomorrow, then
Ooh.
RCB go through. If Delhi win, they're done.
It's going to be very interesting to see what Mumbai is going to do with their batting lineup. Who they're going to select.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see that. There's two South Africans that are vying for a spot in that batting lineup too. So it's going to
And
be interesting to see.
tomorrow is probably the day when both can make an impact because Tim David has gone back to Australia for the birth of his child.
Oh wow. Oh wow. It's going to
So
be a very, very important game then
mm,
for South Africans then maybe. We're going to have to be watching that, Aditya, the two of us.
yeah, yeah.
um, and talking about it probably on Sunday evening if something happens. But
Uh,
let's move on. Yeah,
did
what's up?
you when on the day that Quinton de Kock made his 140? Did you watch his post match presentation?
I never got a chance to watch it. What happened?
It was legendary. It was legendary stuff. So he was asked, what were you thinking in that last over? So I think in that last over they needed some 21 runs to make.
Hmm.
and Sunil Narayana and Rinku Singh were batting. So the cock is basically like, it's like at the beginning of the over, I thought we got it. Then the first ball went for six. It's like, ah, well, we still got it. The second ball went for a boundary or something like that. Like, oh, that's okay. And then the third ball, the third ball goes uh, goes for a six as well. Like, oops. And he's literally saying all of these things to the presenter, and then towards the end, the presenter's like, "Thank you for the entertainment." The cock is like, "No problem."
I wish we could show that on the show. I'm too scared of the copyright infringements. And maybe I don't want to be taken this video be taken down, because otherwise I would play it for you guys and watch it, and we could act to it, because that is some awesome stuff. Like, I mean, Quentin de Kock never disappoints in press conferences, like in anything, in match interviews. I mean, in the interviews I've interviewed him in, it's always been something special. It's funny. Yeah. So, guys, let's move on to the main topic on this before we get to your live chat. Injury replacement for the India tour. That was asked by, let me just double check. I don't want to get the name wrong. By Damien 2 and 2. He says, which batsman do you think will get a call up if injuries happen? Tour to India, maybe Brevis. I think Brevis is a good call. We were talking about it. But the reason why, man, like I was speaking to a buddy of mine about this as well, and about Deva Brevis. The man has had non-stop cricket since school, like since his matric year right through. Played cricket non-stop. I really honestly think I don't want. He's a young boy. He's only 18 years old, 19 years old. I think he needs some time to spend with his family, with his girlfriend, with his friends. Maybe have a little braai, have maybe a Harry Potter watch along or something. I don't know. Like, do something, lay back and just chill for a couple of months, because I mean it's been like so hectic for him. Like, everything's been crazy. I don't necessarily think that it's good for him mentally to be from bubble to bubble working like this as hard as he has been. And he's only a kid, still he was still developing. I mean, and still finishing his school and doing all of those things, plus the IPL contract, all the media, no, I wouldn't say scrutiny, but the media tension that he's been getting online. It's a lot that he's been facing. I think maybe he needs some time to the switch off. Maybe go see his parents, spend some time with his family. Like, I think maybe he needs something like that at the moment. So maybe I wouldn't go for Deerwoud, but I think as a better replacement, definitely Yanaman Malan. Um, to me, I think Yanaman is talented enough to be able to bat anywhere from 1 to 3 in this Proteas team. Even I would even go as far as saying 4 if Aiden and him could be the middle two batters. I mean, that could be also an option in the future. I mean, he doesn't necessarily only have to open. We can find a spot. He is talented enough to be able to bat, I feel, anywhere in the top 4 currently, Yanaman Malan. But I do think, obviously, because he's opening the batting more recently and he's more consistently there, that's where he should bat. But that would be the guy for me, maybe to as a batter replacement. There is other options. Aditya, maybe you would have another option before I mention them.
I agree with Yanaman Malan being there, but if you're talking about bowlers, then I
Yeah,
think there are
yeah,
there are options in.
yeah. You asked for batters only.
Ah,
That's why
okay,
I'm.
okay. Ah,
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay.
but I
That's
made
fine.
it. But I did make the title injury replacement for the India tour, so we can talk about both or all. So
Yeah,
that's the reason why I made it a little bit broader. um, so bowlers wise,
Lizard Williams.
100%, I agree.
Yeah,
So we agree on both. There is a shout for, I think, someone like Vian Lubber. Add something with the ball. He can bat in the top order, right down to 1 to 6. There is a a good shout for him, I think, as well. He's done excellently at the Warriors. Did well for SAA as well. So it could be a good shout. He's had his debut for South Africa already, so it's not like he's unfamiliar with that level of cricket. So that's I think that's also maybe a good shout as well. Um, and for me, as well as a spinner, maybe Bjorn Fortuin. I think Bjorn Fortuin for me was a little bit. I was feeling a little bit sad for him, because he's worked so hard and he's shown a winning mentality consistently over time. And I think that needs to be rewarded. I think he needs to be rewarded for that because, wow, there's so many championship moments that he's put in and provided for his teams. Whether he's playing in domestic cricket for the Lions, whether he's playing for the Proteas, whether he's playing in his Zanzi Super League team, the Paul Rocks, he's always seemed to find that winning edge and that in the crunch time moments, like especially in big matches like finals. Look what he did with the bat for the Lions. Oh, excellent performance. Yeah, I mean, even dropped the bat and everything. It was excellent. I love that performance from him. So yeah, those are some of the guys that I would maybe say. Let's go into the live chat, Aditya. It's your turn first up. You can read the first question out. Let's see. I think this one over here from you. I'm joking.
I'm
Read the whole
asking
name.
myself a question.
Read the
Will
whole name so I can hear how you pronounce
Aditya Narayan Singh,
it.
uh, will Markram be there in the Test playing 11 against England? And if he would be there, then where would he bat? Good
Go
question.
ahead.
Very good question. I do think he'd be there in the Test playing 11 against England. Because I think he's had that break from Test cricket for a while, and I think he's high on confidence because of his exploits in the IPL. He's done quite well for the Sunrisers, and where would he bat? I mean, he definitely in the top three, definitely in the top three. But I think it would be a mistake for South Africa to leave him out against England.
Interesting topic over here that you're asking us, Aditya. Because it's like if they play him, it will either have to be, it will probably be between him and Rassi for that number 4 slot, I think. Because I don't see them dropping Sarl ever in with the performances that he's put in recently. It will be interesting it will be surprising if they do that. And this will probably show where they stand with Aiden Markram. The decision from Boucher over here is going to be very important for the future of South African cricket, I think, because I still do believe that Markram has what it takes to be an opener for South Africa. I still believe that he has the ability. I think that there's something that he just there's a mental gap or mental a problem, something that's bothering him. I feel to find and that patience to bat long and to know and to find his game in the longer format. I don't know if he's getting muddled up between the different. Maybe it's because he's changing and having to adapt to so many different formats. He was out of form in some and then in form in others at different times. It's like a whirlwind because he never actually had an opportunity where he was good at three formats. It was either one or the other. Like there was a period where he was going through where he was seen as the next test best thing, and then it was people thought, okay, let's see him in ODIs, and he didn't take off. And then it was T20s that he went into, and he started doing really well in T20s, and the other two formats have fallen back and taken a backseat. Um, I am worried about the longer format at the moment. He's in a space right now where I feel it's the hardest two formats to get your form back. I feel in Test cricket and in ODI cricket if you are struggling consistently. I think especially for someone like an opener like Aiden, because I think he'll approach his game in a similar manner with Test cricket and ODI cricket. He has more time at the crease. He can take his time and find his rhythm. Aiden is not naturally a person that's going to face 60, 70 balls before he actually gets a run. He is going to find his rhythm, but he needs a little bit extra time. So it is interesting to see what they're going to do. I am a bit worried about that because yes, Markram should be one of the players still for the future. We're still talking about him as a future player. But if you're going on form, etc., then maybe they will have to let him drop him and let him go back into first class cricket, find his mental space, find his rhythm again, and let him come back to South Africa. Based on the results, I think it will be a little bit unfair to putting Markram straight back in, given that those players have performed in their absence. So I think both for Rassi and for Aiden it will be kind of tricky. But I wouldn't mind seeing him in the squad though. But then again, it will contradict because then the new season starts, and there would be games for him to be able to be played for him.
But there's one other thing that we need to talk about, which is that South Africa are probably going to go into that series undercooked with respect to red ball cricket, and so they're going to have to rely on games that they play in England to get into some sort of rhythm for red ball cricket. Because if any of these individuals that we talked about, whether it's Rassi or Makram or anyone in the Test squad for that matter, they haven't really played red ball cricket for a while, for months before the England tour, and I think that's going to be a challenge for South Africa because they're obviously trying to contest that slow starter tag, and if their preparation isn't right, it's going to come back to haunt them, unfortunately.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Um, let's see what he says here. Dex says, Khalid, why are the selectors constantly ignoring Yanaman Milan for T20 eyes? Dropped for the World Cup, not in SIA and not in the India tour, despite of being centrally contracted. Um, you see, the India snub I can kind of understand. Um, the, the two spinners type of thing, all of those type of stuff. His ability to play spin has been a little bit of a concern, I think, for South Africa. It's clear with the answers that Mark Boucher gives in his press conferences that they have some concerns over Yanaman's ability to play spin. Because when they talk about the reasons why they picked the likes of Bavuma and they picked the likes of Rassi van der Dussen and they picked the likes of David and all of the other guys that are in the side, including Aiden, they've spoken about their ability to combat spin. It's been quite a big narrative within South African cricket media. How much South Africa have improved against spinners. So I think that was a big factor in their decision making when they decided to pick um, other players over Yanaman in the T20 format. I do think there's still certain aspects of his game that he needs to refine when it comes to the T20 format. Um, if you look at his stats with regards to T20 cricket so far. I mean, you can compare. Obviously, everybody's going to want to compare it to other players in the team, of course. Um, he's played 11 matches and averaged 21 and only has 150 at a strike rate of 129. So he hasn't necessarily kicked off like we know him in domestic cricket, for example. In domestic cricket, we obviously know that he has shown his ability. I think he averages 35, I think, in domestic cricket or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But let me just check if I can find it. It's possible over here to find it. Stats. Um, but I don't think it's only a stat thing. I think the spin factor, um, like I've said on many occasions on shows before, I've often said that when I'm watching Yaneman play, it sometimes seems like he's found a way to, especially when I watched him in the ODIs, he's found a way to survive against spin, but not necessarily attack spinners. So his average in domestic cricket is 30 matches. 30 average 67 matches, sorry, an average of 30. A strike rate of 133. So he has shown a decent a decent average in domestic cricket compared to international cricket. I think that he's just not yet found his game in T20 cricket that is international quality. He's showing the signs in every other tournament that he's playing, but it's not. I don't feel like it's completely fully. Um, how can I say? I don't think his game is completely refined. There's still some aspects of his game that he's still trying to learn and better in his game. Do you want to answer that, Aditya, and add something to that?
My question is that who will you drop from the team if you pick Animal?
Yeah.
That's only 11 players in the team, and that batting order pretty much picks itself. So unless there's an injury replacement, there's no way that you can pick Yaneman. And we can talk about technical deficiencies, but At the end of the day, it's like this team pretty much picks itself.
Mhm. So Lorenzo has a question for us. He says, a question to both. What? Oh, sorry, this is your question to read, Aditya. But you can read the next one. Question to both. What brand of T20 cricket do you expect the Proteas to play with in the squad that they have versus India and India? I want to see. This is going to sound weird, but I want to see a controlled brand of cricket. It's my own made up strategy and maybe style of cricket. But what I want to see is I want to watch South Africa when it comes to smart cricket and brand and attacking cricket, whatever the case may be. I want to see them play according to the situation. I want them to read the situation, read the pitch, read the conditions, and then play their game according to that. I want to see them run hard between the wickets. I want to see them hit the bad deliveries. I want to see them be positive, but they mustn't be reckless. And that's something that has crept into South Africa's games in the past. I don't want to see recklessness. I want to see them play with their brains and think about what they're doing. Like I say, a controlled brand of cricket is what I would prefer. Aditya, what would you say?
I agree with you. That's what the British should aspire to play. I I think I'd like to see them be more adaptable to the conditions. Without going into aggressive but smart sort of mentality. And in an ideal scenario, you want to respond to the conditions and often make the best use of them. If that happens, then I think more often than not, South Africa will win. Um, Look, even if India doesn't put out the most experienced team, and I don't think that they will, it's still going to be a fairly strong team.
Hmm.
So and they probably make more mistakes than an experienced team will, but they're still going to come hard at South Africa, and I think South Africa should be prepared for that. Sometimes I think in that South Africa does well against familiar opposition in the same sort of conditions. And I feel like if India go ahead with a relatively inexperienced squad that South Africa haven't really seen a lot of, it might be interesting to see how they respond to that. Should India SS98 asks, should India play a full strength team or go with the new squad? I don't think they can play the full strength squad. I don't think logistically it's possible because there's that one-off test that they have to play in England, and then um, yeah, I don't know if that's happening. They're gonna have to put out different teams. Um, yeah, and
At least they
also
have the
look,
depth. If South Africa had that issue, oh, we would have be we would be struggling. I think. Oh, not actually. I think our second team is quite good. Actually, if I think about it.
yeah. So I think, and also this series starts about like 9 days after the IPL ends. These guys have
Mm.
been
Yeah,
at it for 2 months. And
yeah,
I think since the first week of the IPL, people have been talking about Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma needing a break. So I think it would be inexcusable if these guys have to come out again like 9 days later. So I'm pretty sure that they're a relatively inexperienced team.
yeah. Last question from Dex. Last chance for Riza and Klaasen to cement their place. I think. I think it for the World Cup selection. Yes, I want to see them go with a they need to go with they need to start deciding on who's their opener. They need to start deciding who they want to select as their finisher. And once that is done, then I can feel confident that we are preparing right for the World Cup. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thank you a lot, Aditya, for coming on the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Facebook users, please head over to Facebook to YouTube and subscribe. Our YouTube users, go over to Facebook and go smash the like button and share this with all your friends and family on Facebook. It will really help us get more traction to the site to our YouTube channel, to everything that we are producing over here. So please go ahead and do that right away. On YouTube, you guys, if that red button is still red, please click on it. It's supposed to be gray, so or white. Go click on the notification bell for all future videos. Also, get involved with the Patreon account. We need your help to be able to continuously improve in everything that we do. So click on the link on the screen and as well as in the description. We also need you to obviously download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks a lot, Aditya, for joining me on the show tonight. We'll see you again on Sunday evening with another podcast show. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you very soon. Peace and enjoy the rest of your weekend.